And we are live. Maybe. I don't know. Who cares?
We are live.
Hello,
Hopefully.
everyone. Who knows? You know what? To be honest, it works.
Whatever.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 196 of the Crafty Boys. We're going to be milking these episodes out because we kind of want to have episode 200 to be the episode that we have during the the Great Canadian Beer Fest. So
I don't know. I think that might be a tall order, but
I don't know, maybe because
maybe.
it's summertime. We might want to sit around and do nothing for a while.
Maybe.
But this week, Locke was here last week. He has gone back to finish off the stuff he has to finish down at his school. Dave is, to be honest, I don't remember what Dave's doing because who cares?
I think Dave's here in Victoria.
He is.
He's here.
He was here. No, wait, no, I'm wrong. He was in Victoria on the weekend, but right now he's actually here. But he's far away.
The point is that he has a girlfriend and he's growing up, and he's got other things going on. And
Alan, they grew up so fast.
It's special. It's beautiful in its way. One day he's gonna move on out and start a life of his own. Shane, I'm so upset.
I don't want to lose Dave.
I'm so upset that I need to drink a beer. What can we drink?
Then. Well, then this week we're going to have to settle for the Russell Triple Berry Milkshake IPA, which is a beer that you saw, I think, I think we found it somewhere.
You saw it and said, "Hey, let's do this one." I was like, "Okay, sure, why not?"
All right, yes. Well, actually, yeah, you're right, because the beer was discovered on the BC Liquor website. They have this section called Beer Geek, which essentially is an excuse to have a graphic and depict beer in your inventory to show off. Which, hey, why not? So this beer is from Russell Brewing, who are located out in the Surrey Valley. Is it a valley? I don't know. They're located in Surrey. And they made this beer because I guess they just felt like it, because you never know. They're calling it a milkshake IPA, but I think it's just an excuse to have a hazy IPA. So if you look at these pictures,
it's a triple berry.
It's really, really, really thick. You can't see through it no matter how much light you really shine on it. So I'm calling it a hazy IPA. The head is very good. It's rocking in at a 6%, and it's triple berry, which means that here we go. I'll read off while you show off the beer there. A milkshake IPA chock full of blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries, sweetened with lactose. 190 milligrams. 190 kilograms of milligrams of raspberries, 250 kilograms of blackberries, and only one blueberry. No, just kidding. And 250 kilograms of blueberries. A recipe that would battle.
What?
I gotta move the can farther away now. Apparently, a recipe that would rattle most jam companies: blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries. Blackberries, raspberries, and blueberries. Raspberries, blueberries, and blackberries. Yep, that's triple the berries. So there you go. It is very, very dark beer, dark-ish. So let's. The smell test. The first thing you should do when drinking a new beer that you've never had before is smell it. Let it quaff its way over your nostrils, up your nostrils.
You mean waft or quaffed? What?
I meant waft, but I said quaffed. But I was hoping no one would notice. Right. So thanks for that, Alan. So anyway, let's go back to the video replay. Which we can. It smells like a fruit salad. So
totally. So I have to be honest here. It looks like a fruit punch that somebody made at home by themselves and looks kind of sketchy. But it's not sketchy at all. It smells really good.
It smells really good. Now, the one thing I will say for it right now is how. So I'm just looking at the amounts. So 150 kilograms of raspberries, 250 kilograms of blackberries, and 250 blueberries. I'm thinking that the blackberry, there might actually be a bit too much blackberry in here because, or is that the raspberry? That's hard to tell because
Yeah,
I'm finding
it
one of
all
them
kind of
is
blends together.
yeah. Well, I think that one is really dominating and it's a bit tart, and I think it's the raspberry, which is
Yeah,
probably why they use less. Maybe I don't know, but
could be.
overall, but here's the thing: even though they're fighting for dominance, my taste buds are confused, but
Well,
confused in the I wonder what kind of things might be going over my tongue at the moment. But
so
ultimately, it tastes good anyway.
so it does taste good. It tastes it. You can definitely taste the berries. It is a bit of a hodgepodge. I can't really make out, what is blackberry, what's raspberry, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
What I am disappointed about is the hop profile. The hop for a supposed IPA, the hop profile is almost non-existent.
that is true because the blackberries, raspberries, and blueberries, blackberries, whatever order they go in, um, it's kicking its ass. Yeah, it's kicking the hops ass.
So I was expecting sort of like a hazy IPA kind of flavoring. Maybe it's sort of like a play on that, and it's not at all. I would say
Mm.
that this just tastes like a berry ale, is what it is. I'm a little bit disappointed that it has the IPA uh, thing in the phrase in the name itself.
They don't
But
actually
not a
talk
bad
about.
beer. Not a bad tasting beer. It's just if you're expecting an IPA with that kind of hot profile, you're going to come away disappointed.
And also, I would also mention that it's not really a beer that you'll enjoy one, maybe two, but I think more than that.
Yeah,
This kind of feels like it needs like a lager palate cleanser in the middle, like a very simple beer, a very tried and true, something that you particularly like or enjoy often if you're a lager
right.
guy or a girl. Um, so yeah, overall, it's not a terrible beer. It's got some good tastiness going on, and you know,
Where's my beer?
here you go,
Now
peanut gallery.
I'm trying to find an IBU rating on this thing, and I'm kind of out of luck here.
Um,
Russell has not posted one. I've gone on Untapped on the official thing. They said no IBU rating on it. I'm just
I
trying to see if there's anybody else that has maybe come up with one, and I don't see it. Anybody has.
I would say that it is primarily. Um, I'm gonna just hazard a guess that it is something like,
An 8.
yeah, it's not all that. It's hard to tell because it is so overpowered with the
There,
fruitiness of awesome. So
there is no hoppiness to it at all, which is disappointing.
yeah, but overall, Russell, it's a good beer, good try. You know what? I really would like to see this as an ice cream. I could eat this as an ice cream.
Now, on the BC liquor store website, it did suggest in the description that this would be good with a vanilla ice cream
So
as
like
a
a
float.
float.
As a float.
Okay, okay, all
And
right. Yeah, I
actually,
can
that's
see
a good
that.
idea. I'm actually thinking I'm going to try that.
To be honest, I'm on board. I'm on board with that right now.
Okay, I don't have any
Hmm.
vanilla ice cream right now, but I can go to the
I
store and get
I
some.
do. Hey, peanut gallery, how much do you love me? Would you like to bring me some ice cream that I can put in my beer?
Oh, Christ. I just served somebody else ice cream. How was
You just served other people ice cream? Who are you serving ice cream to? Uh, um,
While Shane is
I'm
groveling.
gonna try this. Alan, talk
Okay,
about while I'm getting some ice cream. You actually brought up a couple of stories this week that you
I
wanted to
did.
mention.
Okay, so it looks like Red Arrow Brewing. Last week we talked about this, as you might know. This is the brewery from Chemainus on Vancouver Island. that was having some financial difficulties due to a couple of storms that that caused them to lose out on some profit.
Did you say Red Arrow or
Uh,
Riot?
I meant Riot, not Red Arrow.
I'm making it make sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the ice
Riot
cream.
Brewing in Chemainus, Red Arrows in Duncan. Don't confuse the two like I just did. But anyway, Riot Brewing, it looks like they've got a bit of a reprieve. According to Dave McCann, who commented on last week's episode, he says that they are saved and are brewing beer once again. So I don't think they're going to be at the beer fest this year, but hopefully we'll start seeing product from them a little bit more plentifully in the coming weeks and months.
By the way,
All
to
right.
interject, yes. Oh my goodness, the ice cream.
Wow.
It mellows the flavor. I'm gonna let
So
that
it's
sit for a
sweeter.
second. So
Now, how
the
much vanilla
sugar
ice cream
getting
did you
added
add?
into that. This is just like a tablespoon, a little bit more. So not like a
Okay.
full scoop, but maybe say a third of a scoop. But
Right.
it definitely, yeah,
Okay, I'm doing
a
that.
little bit of sweetness definitely, not it tempers that sharp fruitiness going on there. So
Right. And the beer
yeah.
is sweet on its own, right? I mean,
is.
it is
It's
sweet,
not.
but
It's not
adding
heavy
the
sweet.
creaminess of the ice cream and everything, it just
Yeah.
adds this whole other dimension, I would imagine. That's great. I'm gonna try that.
So I do recommend it. I'm gonna let that melt a little bit. The head's picking up again. Now, Alan, I want you to talk about Bill and Ted's next film, the Bill and Ted Face the Music. You were talking about an actor that you thought, sorry,
Yes.
an actor just joined the cast, and you thought,
Yes.
bonus.
Yes, I did. I absolutely love her. You may have seen her from Flight of the Conchords in the past and The Last Man. What was it? Last Man on Earth or Last Man Standing or something like that it was called. Anyway,
I know the one you're talking about. The one with, yeah, okay. I know. I've seen it. So,
Yeah.
or a bit of it.
Kristen Schaal is joining the cast of Bill and Ted's Face the Music. I don't know what she's going to be doing in it, but anything she does is great. So I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, the cast that they're putting together for this movie is really, really good. I mean, this thing is going to be awesome.
You sound very surprised.
No, well,
why would they do this?
You know what? I'm not surprised, but I'm also surprised. Yes.
Well, of course, it stars our hero Keanu Reeves and our other hero Alex
Who's our
Winter.
hero?
Shh. Anthony, I just pulled up the list because I was looking at it earlier. But Anthony Kerrigan, who I really like, he is an actor who's been around for a while, doing all kinds of stuff. Most recently, or most often recently, is the show Gotham, where he plays Victor Zsasz. Kristen Schaal, of course. William Sadler is back as Death. Which I'm very happy about, considering I'll never forget his nude karate moves in Die Hard 2.
Yeah.
And we also have a bunch of unknowns, but I'm also really happy that Hal Landon Jr., who plays Captain Logan, is back as well. Because I was beginning to think, are these actors even still alive? Like, because those guys, they're not spring chickens, but hopefully they're back. And also Missy is coming back, played, of course, by oh my lord, I'm blanking on her name.
Stotch.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my hero, one of my actress heroes, is Holland Taylor. Who's in it as the great leader. I don't know what that means, but for anyone who's ever watched the films back in the 80s of oh my god, Jewel of the Nile and what was the first one? Jewel of the Nile and Romancing the Stone. Thank you. She played the publisher or the editor. I think it was the publisher of not Catherine O'Hara. Oh my lord! See, this is what happens.
Shane, you're cut off.
I'm out. Kathleen Turner's character, and I ever since then I fell in love with her, and I thought she was the best thing since sliced bread for quite some time. So there you go. I'm glad she's in it. I haven't seen her in quite a while because she's starring in stuff that I just don't watch, sadly. So, in other beer news, actually not in other beer news. Did you see this? That what's his name? The premier of Ontario canceled his cell phone.
No, he canceled
The guy.
his cell phone.
He promised quite some time ago that that he was going to bring dollar beers to the province of Ontario. You remember that, Doug Ford?
Yeah.
And that apparently didn't come to pass. But I just noticed yesterday that he has now canceled his cell phone because he gets too many spam calls, which I thought was really kind of funny for the guy who wanted to give everyone free beer, essentially. So I don't know.
Okay.
I thought you'd be very excited about that, considering he was going to give beer to all.
Yeah, I guess. Hey, something else I wanted to mention that I'm really excited about this. I'm not sure that you will necessarily, and this isn't beer related, but we are nerds. We love tech. So, last year the Commodore 64 Mini came out. This was like a little bite-sized Commodore 64 looking thing that had some games built into it, and it had a joystick that you plugged into it, blah, 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 blah. But people lamented, the keyboard didn't actually work. It was just ornamental. Okay. So now for this coming up Christmas, they're coming out with the C64. This is a remake of an original Commodore 64 full-size working keyboard with HDMI and USB with the joystick. It's got the games preloaded into it, but it has the ability that you could download ROMs from the web, install them into the machine yourself quite easily, and play any game you want. This thing looks nuts. I want it.
I wonder what style they're going to have, because I seem to remember that the Commodore 64 had like the classic, that sort of beige casing that was very rounded around the
That's the one. That's the one.
That's what they're doing. Yeah, because I remember there being like a flatter one at some point.
There was a Commodore 64 128.
That's probably the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah. So it was a Commodore 128 with a 64 emulator in it, essentially.
So are you going to get one?
Yeah, I haven't told my wife, but I'm totally going to get one.
Because I just noticed that they're going to be priced at around $200.
Yeah,
I'm like, why? I mean, okay, manufacturing, blah 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 blah, but that and I got to be honest with you here. I mean, I have a Raspberry Pi that runs RetroPie, which is a classic game emulator, and it does have a Commodore 64 emulator on it, but it sucks. It really does. Commodore 64 emulators blow goats, all of them. So every single goat on the planet Earth. That's how much this sucks.
They do. So I wanted to get this thing, which runs original Commodore 64 basic. You even to start the games, you have to go load, quote, whatever the game is, unquote, (8, 1), hit enter, and that's that. Speaking of which, okay, I really miss command line operating systems.
Really?
Oh yeah, big time. So there was this thing recently.
Sorry.
You all right? There was this thing recently. It was a cross promotion with Stranger Things season 3, where Microsoft went and wiped their Instagram account, and they put on this ad for Windows 1.0 coming out with MS-DOS. And people were like, what's going on with this? And it turned out it was a Stranger Things cross promotion. But it made me think, how much more I could get done with DOS over Windows. Like, I miss DOS. If Windows could come back with a DOS shell, I'd be all over it.
Do you remember? Actually, no. I guess I'm thinking of DOS box doesn't really count.
No, it doesn't.
But I did actually just recently, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, reinstalled this thing called the Windows System. Oh my God, I forgot the name of it. WSL, I think is what it's titled. But anyway, you can actually, which installs a Linux kernel that runs side by side to Windows and sort of some sort of containerized thing. So when you bring up the DOS command, you can actually use Linux commands, but you also have like a Linux only terminal. Also, they're releasing it again this year, if they haven't already, version 2 of it, which actually basically replaces or somehow clones itself a real Linux kernel into the operating system. I don't know how this works, but it works great. But it's not quite DOS. I mean, it's sort of a similar kind of idea, but I guess essentially
it mimics DOS, but it's not DOS.
Yeah, because on Windows 10 and even Windows 7, you can go to the command line and do stuff, and it's the same commands as DOS. But really, ultimately,
it ain't DOS.
It ain't DOS. No, that's true. I mean, it's like when I was playing a little while ago. I found a port of the game Dungeons of Daggerath, which was one that I ran on my old Trash 80, and when I had it, it was a cartridge, and you had to save your games to your tape deck and all that kind of stuff, and load up from there, which was hilarious. It is hilarious. But the cool thing was you could still use all the same commands. So when you wanted to save where you were, or because I was just playing it a few days back or a few weeks back or however long it's been, you actually have to do Z save, give the file name, and then that kind of stuff. So that's it. Again, not quite DOS, but still.
No. I still have my Commodore 64 tape drive.
Oh, you really? Do you still have your Commodore 64?
I still have my Commodore 64. I don't have any of the cables that go with it. And even if I did, there's no way I could hook it up to a TV from today.
Oh, that's a good point. Because you'd have to get one of those adapter things like the slide channel 3 business, right?
No, it won't even work with it's a different format altogether. It will not work with an HD TV. You'd have to get an old tube TV.
That's so bad. Oh my God.
Which is why the machines that they're making now, like the one that we were just talking about, the Commodore 64, is coming out or is going to be so popular. It's an exact replica of a Commodore 64 that works with today's equipment.
And I assume it's HDMI and all that kind of fun stuff.
Oh, yes.
Okay. I mean, people were very excited about that when they started doing these retro machines, like with the NES and I think they are doing one or have done one with the ColecoVision.
In television.
There was also in television, and they also, but then of course you have the Atari ones as well, which I think are those out now? They must be out by now.
Atari ones have been they were the ones that started this whole thing. Interestingly, you can't get E.T. the game in any of them. I don't think.
You have to go out to the desert and find it. Yeah, here we go. The Atari Flashback. That's what it's called. And
so
they have several.
I think they're up to like their 8th model of it or something. 8th version.
Yeah, I'm seeing like Flashback Portable. Wow. But they have like the 8, the 9. So 6, 5. Yeah, it's just going back as I scroll down this list.
They look cool. They function less cool. I actually have one. It was my mother-in-law's, and looks just like the old Atari 2600, just scaled down a little bit. The joysticks are original, and actually, if you open it up, the PCB, the printed circuit board, is identical to the original printed circuit board. So essentially, you could retrofit these Atari flashback units with a game cartridge thing and actually plug in old game cartridges into it.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I don't know if that's the newer ones. This is maybe the older Atari flashbacks that you can do that with. But it is possible. You just need. It seems like a waste of time.
well, it does. I mean, here you go. The apparently, I just was reading this while you were talking there. The apparently the 64, the C64 that comes out in December will have 3 modes: original C64 Basic, VIC-20 Basic,
Oh,
and something called the Games Carousel, which it sounds like that's where you're that's the retro gaming, download the ROMs
yes.
and that kind of stuff. So that is so cool. Yeah, so it comes with HDMI support up to 720p, and yeah, nice. That's
Now
gonna
I
be.
just need to
Oh my
figure out
God,
a way.
Alley Cat.
I just need to figure out a way to take an original Atari 2600 joystick and make it USB. That's what I want to do.
That would be hard to do. Not
It
impossible.
is hard to
but
do,
it would
and
be
it's
hard, yeah.
and it's expensive to do it. But that's what.
But
I
you know
wanna
what?
do.
That is something that you'd have to do while drinking a lot of beer,
Yes.
because that's the
Well,
only way where you can function properly, to get the little wires together, solder them properly. You know, nothing works so much better than drinking a lot of beer while doing that one thing.
Yeah.
Just saying. But we're also close to time. So
Yep.
we have been talking about this beer here, the raspberry.
Triple
The
berry milkshake.
triple berry
IPA.
milkshake IPA from Russell Brewing over here on the mainland. And I think ultimately our final verdict is a little too heavy on one of the berries, I think. The hop profile is somewhere in there, but it gets overpowered by said berries. So I think it falls under the category of hazy IPA, but they're replacing that with milkshake. So, but I will point out, I did do the thing that we were talking about, where I added some ice cream to it, some vanilla ice cream. That did it really smoothed out it took a little away from the sweetness, took a little away from the tartness of the fruit, and made it a little better. So there you go. Give it a try. I recommend it.
Cool.
And
I'm
besides, they
gonna try
call it a milkshake, so why not?
Absolutely.
And so there you go. So everyone, thank you for watching. And as always, Alan, take us out.